If I look shiny, it's because I woke up 20 minutes ago and I haven't washed my face yet. But I did a recording of this video, which was kind of an update slash my plans for the next stage of this manuscript. And I did it like 5 times, and each time I went on a rambling rampage of like horrible, just off the topic crap. So I'm going to try to not do that this time. We're going to try to get through this in less than 12 minutes, so we'll see. Anyway, first things first. I wanted to give you a quick update on where I'm at. I am 1 day away from finishing my second draft with all the revisions and edits that I needed to make. I am literally down to the last 2 chapters, and one of them doesn't have any revisions. The 29th one is just I need to listen through and catch any more typos. I've done 2 listen throughs with trying to catch typos, and I was still finding some on the second listen through, so I was doing that again. I want to give a quick shout out to Voice Dream, an app on my iPhone. It is awesome for catching typos, by the way, because I can just listen to my whole book, and it's really obvious when there's a big old typo, like a word's wrong, or there's a missing word. Oh my gosh, I do that a lot. Or a word that's not supposed to be there. Doesn't really help for catching things like if you used to instead of to as in TOO, or the other two. Or there, and there. Doesn't work very well for those. You're going to have to do an actual read-through for those, but my God, does it make the read-through easier as far as catching other typos. Anyway, that's my quick shout-out to them. I'm almost done for today. I just have a couple revisions in my final chapter I have to do. Now, these are a little bit longer revisions, so I'm hoping to get through them today. I don't really have anything that should prevent me from getting those done within today. I do have a family dinner tonight. We'll see. If I'm not done with those, I might have to bail on that because I want to get this done today. I promised one of my critique partners that I would have a copy sent to him by Monday morning so that he can start reading it because he's been nagging me this whole time. And we'll go into that a little bit more later. But anyway, that's my update. I'm moving on. I wanted to go over a little bit of my experience with this second draft real quick. I don't know if other people experience the same thing with the second draft. But if you do, then maybe you know you're not a freak, because the whole time I was thinking, I'm like, am I just being a drama queen about this? Because I'm like, this is like a roller coaster. Like every other day I'll be like, this isn't half bad for a first draft. It's like, I can't believe I actually used that word choice there. That's pretty clever. And then the next day I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's so terrible. Like, my writing is atrocious. My style is bad. Don't get me wrong. I still love my story. Overall, I am very happy with my story. I just know that my writing skills are a little lacking because I'm going to chalk it largely up to the fact that I'm a high school graduate and I didn't bother doing anything else. I mean, I took some college classes in high school, but none of them were writing courses. They were all things like health and guidance 47 and Japanese and stuff, because I took 2 years of Japanese or something like that. But that doesn't help me with my writing skills. So, anyway, so I'm painfully aware as to my lack of diverse word choice, my run-on sentences, my simple sentences that all have the same length that are stuck together, which is made painfully obvious again by that app that I mentioned, the Voice Dream. I strongly recommend that if you're going through editing, because it really helps make it obvious when you've got kind of a semi-robotic voice. And their voice is not too bad, actually, that they give you the choices. I use Will on there. The Will guy has a semi-less robotic voice and a little bit more inflection, but it makes it so much more obvious when all your sentences are the same length, whereas when you're just reading them, you're adding inflection and stuff, so it spruces them up a little bit and it kind of hides it. But when they're just done in a robotic voice, it makes it so much more obvious when you make a mistake, or if the sentences are run-ons, oh my gosh, it makes it so obvious, because I'm bad at catching those. Or if they're just all simple sentences and they're kind of boring and they need some sprucing up. So I strongly recommend getting an app. Now, they have free ones like that. I tried like 7 different free ones, and none of the free ones, I couldn't get the stupid file over. Like, the one I could get the file over, it cut off like 90% of my document. It only took like an hour worth of a 6-hour document. And I couldn't get it to take the whole document. So I went and I paid for one. Now this one that I paid for was $15, but so far I would say I already got my money's worth out of it because I've used it for 2 whole listen throughs for my book. And it's got a bunch of different voices and inflections and stuff, and I found it very, very helpful. And it was the only one that I found that had a search option for the document, so that if I lost my place as to where I actually was in my editing, I could just search chapter 29 and it would take me right to that spot in the document. So anyway, that's enough of me praising that particular app, but I will say it was a lightsaber. Wow, I've been doing too much Star Wars crap. I'm a nerd, okay? But anyway, my experience with this was a bit stressful, but I will say that when I hear other YouTubers say that the first draft is not the hardest part, the editing is, so far that has not been my experience. The first draft was definitely harder than the second draft, but perhaps when I get to beta readers and they point out glaring flaws that I'm missing in my story and I have to do massive rewrites, then I will agree more with that sentiment that the first draft is not the hardest part. Anyway, I'm already up to 6 minutes and I'm trying to keep this under 12 minutes, so I'm going to stop going on a ramble. Last thing I wanted to talk about is my plans as to the next stage of this particular revision. If I get done with my second draft today, which I should be able to do, if I can get past this one glaring flaw in my idea that I had. I thought it was so brilliant at the time, and I was like, make this edit. And then I realized, oh, that creates a big old timeline problem. Can't do that. He's still going to have to swim to the ship. He doesn't get to use the lifeboat. Anyway, that probably sounds really weird to you guys, but believe me, it would make sense in the context of the story. But, anyway, so I've got to fix that and do something a little bit different than I had planned, which is actually going to make it easier than what I had planned, but I'm still kind of annoyed by it because I thought it was such a brilliant idea. Anyway, see there, those are the rambling things that I tend to do. That's an example. But anyway, back on topic. My next plan is once I finish this second draft today, I'm going to be emailing off a copy of this in Google Docs to one of my critique partners. Bryce, I can't remember which take I went into where I gave him big old compliments and stuff. I can't remember if it's this take because my brain can't absorb everything that I talked about in all these different times I tried this video. But my friend Bryce, he works with me and he is a literal book sponge. He can just suck up books like it's nobody's business. He does nothing but read all day. Hopefully if he watches this, he'll find that as a compliment because that's what it's meant as, because that's awesome about him. Also, I've had him help me critique a couple of my first chapters back in the beginning when I first started, and he is largely the reason why I didn't make several very big mistakes that would have caused me to have to completely rewrite this from the beginning. Originally, I had planned on it being a Coast Guard ship that was doing this thing, and he pointed out that the relationships that I was building between the characters did not really fit with military men's relationships. Like, they were a little bit too undisciplined and stuff. And a little part of me, having grown up like going to military bases and being around military men, is like, you must not know how military men actually are, because yes, they do talk like that. I've been around them a gazillion times. I mean, I was around Navy guys, not Coast Guard, but whatever. But either way, that gives me an insight that normal public opinion is that military guys tend to be super disciplined and strict about their language with each other, even when they're out and stuff, and they've been working with these people for years and stuff. It's like, they aren't like that. But since you think they're like that, it would be a mistake for me to portray them this other way, because you're going to be thinking the whole time that's not accurate, even if it is. So, so I changed that, and I made these, my crew, a fishing crew that was volunteering to help in a search and rescue mission, because the Coast Guard was understaffed, which is actually something that they will do. I looked that up and found it out, and I was like, yep, fishermen, that's what they are. And thanks to his advice, I changed that, and it made the story so much better. So much better. It solved so many other issues that the story would have had. And he is just a fantastic critique partner, so he's going to help me out with this round. And then my mother is also going to be helping me. I don't remember if I already talked about this, so if I'm repeating myself from a part I previously talked earlier about in this particular take, Please forgive me because I don't remember what I talked about in each take anymore because there were too many. But anyway, my mom's also going to be helping me because she is really, really good at finding problems in stories, and she's also very good about giving critiques in a way that will be well received, but also isn't overly sugarcoating things, and I will actually know what problems are in my story. Some people's moms are like, everything's great, honey, and my mom's like, no, this character, like, she already helped me before because she's like, I was really connecting to this character, but this other character kind of seems like he's a character, he's not a person to me. And that's actually what led me to add a bunch of chapters and stuff to give that character some more characterization. And he kind of stole the show as a result of that because now he's like my favorite character. But anyway, these are both people I really, really trust. I value their opinions on stories and books and stuff. So they're going to be my first kind of round of beta readers almost. But they're really more like critique partners because they're going to be helping me throughout the rest of the process as well, and we're going to be going from there. After that, I'm going to go through and for my third round of edits, well, before we get into that, this is still going to end up being a 12-minute long video. Before we get into that, I want to explain my kind of idea behind my editing and revising process. There are like two types of people in the world, and I'm sure you'll identify with either one of these if you're watching this. There is the kind of person that if you have 20 bags of groceries in your car, one person will make 20 trips and take only one bag at a time because it's easier and it's not hard that way, even if they have to make much more trips or many more trips. These are the kind of things I had to edit out. Even if they have to make many more trips, each trip is super easy, so it's not a problem to them and they prefer to do it that way. Then there is the kind of person who is going to take all friggin' 20 bags in at once because, damn it, I am not making multiple trips. I am the first kind of person who would rather make 20 trips and them all be easy. So that's kind of the pathway that I'm taking with my revising and editing too. I'm not overloading myself with trying to take care of everything in one go with each round of edits. I'm just picking and choosing a couple little things to go through, and I may end up doing 10 different drafts or more for all I know. But I don't want to overload myself and make each draft take too long, because if each draft takes more than about a month, 2 months, 3 months to get through, I'm going to get discouraged and I'm going to want to say, I already know myself and I know I'm going to say, nah, it's fine how it is. And then we're done. But it's not done and it won't be very good that way. So I'm trying to keep a lid on my ambitions as to how much I'm going to get done in each particular draft. So after I have my critique partners look at it, I'm going to go through and I'm going to integrate whatever feedback I got from them, assuming that their feedback actually works for the story. And I mean, I have to exercise some discretion there, but I think they're probably pretty good at telling what needs to be added or taken out. And then I'm also going to, just so I can spruce up the sentences a little bit for my beta readers before I get on to the next one, which will be actual beta readers, people I don't know. I'm going to spruce up the sentences a little bit. I'm going to run it through a passive voice checker so that it's a little bit less bad there. I'm going to probably work on a little bit of my repetitive word choice. I'm going to try to look for some punctuation errors because I know I've got a lot of those. I'm really bad at telling where commas are supposed to be. I don't know why, but I never got the comma thing. Like, I'm bad at telling where commas should be or shouldn't be because I speak in a different cadence than other people. And I remember getting the rule of, well, wherever you take a breath in the sentence and pause, that's where a comma should be. And the problem is I don't speak in a normal cadence to other people. So where I take a breath and take a pause is not where you should. So that doesn't work very well for me. And I have to go back through and be really careful and specifically watch the grammar rules. So I'm going to try to do that so that it's not so torturous for my poor beta readers as they read through my horrible punctuation mistakes. And then I'm also going to go through and just Control F a bunch of filter words and try to get rid of some of those as well. So that's my main goal for my third draft. And then I'm going to send it off to beta readers, see if I can get anybody else to find any big old plot holes or story problems and character problems, get their impression of the story and stuff, see if there's anything else that needs to be done. That will be my first round of beta readers, and then I will, for my fourth draft, be integrating whatever I get from that. And then going from there, I'm hoping to do at least 3 rounds of beta readers. This is the longest take of them all, and I thought I went faster, and I didn't really get on rabbit trails. How did that happen? Anyway, we're just going to go with it at this point. I'm not doing another take because I can't remember what's in any of these anymore. So I'm hoping to do at least 3 rounds of beta readers. I think my first round, I'm probably only going to do about 10 beta readers, and then I'm going to try to do more for my other rounds, because I'm thinking that that's going to be a good way to build up to larger numbers of people, because I don't want to, this sounds kind of silly, but I'd rather have it still be kind of crappy and only disappoint 10 people who went and read through it, and then have some fixes, and then have 20 people read it in the next round, then have 20 people read it and have disappointed 20 people versus 10 for the point when it still needs quite a bit of work, you know? I mean, it's not crappy. I actually really love my story, and my writing isn't as bad as I think it is. The problem is I've been listening to a lot of these YouTubers who are very, very picky about their word choices, and I'm forgetting that they're looking at like final drafts or in the line editing phase, and I'm not in that phase. So I need to be a little bit more understanding that yes, my word choice and my sentences and stuff have not gone through line editing yet, so they're not great. But they're not too bad either. They're not too bad. There's definite sections that I know need more work than others, but that's what critique partners and beta readers are for, is to help me out with that, because I've already done a lot of what I can do on my own. Anyway, this turned into a very long video, and I apologize. I may actually end up having to retake this again after all. We will see. Anyway, if you hung in there for as long as this video is, I really appreciate it. Hopefully, this was at least remotely edifying for you, and it's not just me going on a horrible rambling kick. Anyway, I'm going to let you go, because I've taken up a lot of your time now, and you guys have a great one. Bye.